My name is Paula. Welcome to The Better Part, where each week we first listen to the Word of God, and then we think about what it means. We ask questions of it. We wonder. When we are 3 or 4, when we are 5 or 6, or even when we are quite old like me, we ask, "Who are you, God? And who am I with you?" Together, we hope to draw closer to the mystery of God. I'm so glad you are here. Let's begin. This Sunday marks the beginning of Holy Week. It is the most holy week of the church year. The church takes a whole week to think in a particular way about the events of Jesus' dying and rising to new life. Some people, adults mostly, like to look at one event at a time. They spend a long time, sometimes even a whole day, on each event. But we know that it is even more special to gaze at the whole mystery, the whole treasure, all at once. We can do that in this way. Let's listen together to the Word of God. On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?" Jesus said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, he took his place with the 12. While they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will never again drink of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." When they had sung the hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. The Passover meal is the most holy meal for the Jewish people. Families and groups of close friends celebrate this meal in their homes each year. Jesus, too, would celebrate the Passover with his family when he was growing up in Nazareth, and then as an adult, traveling with his friends. The Jewish people have celebrated the Passover meal in exactly the same way for over 3,000 years. They eat the same foods, they say the same prayers, they ask the same questions, they sing the same hymns every single year. But the last time that Jesus celebrates the Passover with his friends in Jerusalem, He does something new. He says words that have never been spoken before. When it was evening, he took his place with the 12. While they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant." These words might sound familiar to us, but Jesus says them for the very first time when he shares the Passover meal with his friends. Why do these words sound familiar to us? Where have we heard them before? Jesus takes the bread, blesses it, and gives it to his friends. He says that the bread is his body. Jesus gives them his whole self in the bread. Jesus takes the wine and thanks God for it and gives it to his friends. He says that the wine is his blood. Can we live without our blood? Of course not. Jesus gives them his life in the wine. Jesus gives them his body and his life in the bread and the wine. He says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." He gives his life before the soldiers come to take it away. How can they take away something he has already given? That just does not make sense. No wonder death cannot hold him. No wonder he can be filled with new life, God's risen life, never to die again. This is good news. Actually, it is the best news ever. We can hold on to this good news during this most holy week when adults talk about the death of Jesus and forget to say, "And he is risen to new life, never to die again," because we know Jesus is risen. Remember, we have heard these words of Jesus ourselves. "Take, eat. This is my body. Take, drink. This is my blood of the covenant." The Good Shepherd wants to be with his sheep always. Best news ever.